And welcome to Healthcare Sex. And yes, I'm eating again. This time it is la pizza. You want a bite, guys? Here. Anyway, um, I'm doing things around the house. I go into the studio, guys, and from where the light comes through, there's a leak because we've been getting rain again in Oregon. That's what Oregon does. Drip, 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 dripping down on stuff. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I get it all done, and now I got to cut a hole in the roof and figure out. And we have metal roofing. Oh yeah, this is going to be a nightmare. Anyway, well, I had a few minutes. I found something interesting, and I thought I'd bring it to you because healthcare sucks, and so do leaky roofs, man. It's going to be a pain in the butt. I'll show you guys what I'm. It's going to be a pain. Pray for me, please. Make it just a little easier and it gets fixed because leaks in your home can suck. All right, here we go.
Over a month since the coronavirus whistleblower Dr. Li Wenliang died, his last post on Weibo is still going strong. According to Apple Daily, as of Friday afternoon, the viral post is still up with over 2.6 million likes and nearly 600,000 comments and 160,000 reposts. Li Wenliang was silenced by authorities for trying to warn others about what he called a new SARS-like coronavirus, and then later died of the virus. His last post is from February 1st and shows he was still hopeful about his diagnosis. He wrote that the nucleic acid test result is positive. He died 6 days later. The comments are still coming in at around the speed of one message per minute. Many netizens are expressing their sympathy for Li Wenliang or praising him for his disclosing of the epidemic. Now to Wuhan, the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak. Residents expressing outrage after local authorities of the regime delivered meat and other foods using garbage trucks and even ambulances. Many expressed their grievances to our reporters that the garbage trucks were dirty and the ambulances could carry the virus. Another citizen told us it would be better if authorities gave the people allowances and let them buy their own necessities instead of sending loads of meat to everyone. And as the coronavirus spreads around the world, the hunt for patient zero continues. On Friday, a new internal document from the Chinese Communist regime reveals the novel coronavirus appeared much earlier than officially announced. According to Hong Kong-based media, unpublished documents from the Chinese Communist regime reveal a 55-year-old Wuhan patient suffering from what's now known as the novel coronavirus as early as November 17th last year. It's not clear if he is patient zero, but so far there are no records.
Okay, guys, we all know patient zero is the Wuhan CDC facility 200 yards from the Epic Center, the wet market. Don't pull our legs. We know better. It's just ridiculous, guys. You're going to hear some more ridiculous stuff here in a minute.
Of earlier cases. The report also revealed starting from that date, there were 1 to 5 new cases each day. By December 15th, the total number of infection was at 27. By December 20th, that number had reached 60. That's in sharp contrast to what the world knows as the first case. According to the World Health Organization, the first recorded case in China was on December 8th. And according to medical journal The Lancet, the first patient in a hospital in Wuhan treated for the coronavirus was on December 1st. So what about the patients who have recovered from the coronavirus? A new study by Hong Kong hospital doctors found that recovered coronavirus patients can be left with substantially weakened lungs. The doctors studied the first batch of recovered coronavirus patients in Hong Kong. Out of the 12 people in the group, around 20 to 30% had a drop in lung function. These patients were left gasping for air if they walked too fast. The doctors added that the long-term effects cannot be determined at this time.
And they were talking about crystallizing your lungs out of this. This is not from animals, guys. This does not come from nature. This is a bioweapon created. Don't kid yourselves. And their numbers of the recovering, yeah. There's more. Watch. This is going to get ridiculous. This is why I brought it to you guys.
Efforts to combat the coronavirus, U.S. health officials announced a coronavirus test that will speed up the process by 10 times. The Food and Drug Administration approved emergency use of the test, which runs on the Cobas 8800 and 6800 systems and has a testing capacity of over 4,000 patients a day. The machines can provide test results in 4 hours, which is 10 times faster than the current ones. This can be a vital tool in helping stem the flow of the coronavirus, as it allows health workers to identify and quarantine patients a lot faster than before. And now globally, Iran is the hardest hit country in the Middle East, with over 11,000 cases and more than 500 deaths. But some are questioning the official figures, saying it could be much higher. According to The Guardian, satellite images reveal a large number of tunnels dug into a large cemetery in the Iranian city of Qom. Comparing different satellite images, the cemetery was unused in October, but by early March this year, much of it was filled up. Some scholars are pointing out these new tombs could be used to conceal coronavirus deaths. In France, the prime minister took drastic measures to curb the coronavirus epidemic, banning all gatherings of more than 100 people. Following the announcement, many monuments set to close on Friday, including the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre Museum, and others. Many visitors are left to peer through closed entrances, hoping for a glimpse of the famous paintings within. And French President Emmanuel Macron announced Thursday night all schools and universities would be closed until further notice, calling the coronavirus epidemic the worst health crisis the country has experienced in a century. And the UK announced.
Meanwhile, you notice it's not mentioned because they don't want to mention it. The yellow vest movement's back out on the streets again, guys, in France. They're taking it at risk. And back about the garbage cans bringing in food, we covered that on just a little where you send out a message. It's true. They were. And, that's what we're concerned about is them dumping enough crap to us if we get quarantined. Issue a card immediately and postpone all bills and debts. Again, I call for that.
Today, elections will be pushed back for a year amid the coronavirus pandemic. Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in self-isolation after his wife tested positive for the coronavirus. Australian Home Affairs Minister Peter Dutton tests positive for the coronavirus. And Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro, who was recently in the U.S. and met with President Trump, has tested negative for the coronavirus, reversing earlier reports. And we previously reported on a Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman suggesting the U.S. military brought the coronavirus to Wuhan. Zhao Lijiang tweeted from his official account that it might be the U.S. Army who brought the epidemic to Wuhan. He asked the U.S. to, quote, be transparent, make public your data, saying U.S. owes us an explanation.
Okay. Okay. Oh, let's just hold on a minute here. Oh, no. The Wuhan monster came out of their lab, which they stole from Canada. I'm going to go fast. They stole it from Canada. They 12-monkeyed it. They, whether intentionally or not, I'm believing they intentionally released this thing to do exactly what it's doing. It is a bioweapon. It's been engineered. It's already mutated several times. By the way, guys, it will mutate. You can get it again. And you know what? They want to talk double TTT. I am looking forward to suing their butts personally. I already put the question to one of my attorney friends that we have these conversations, and he's actually checking into it if we can stipulate or tie up some kind of funds that we can prove this thing. We know it came from there, that without a doubt. And it's time that we stop. I mean, pity the people The people are the ones getting harmed. But the government is root of all evil, guys. And this kind of story just fires me up. Fires me up. Because you know what? If any suing gets done, those guilty little punks are going to get sued over there. China's government, Mr. Xi, the emperors, they can afford it. You know, it's time to kick it down. And let's not forget, there's no sick military over there, guys. Period. And the emperor and they're moving elites to the ghost cities that aren't ill now. We have factory cities being retooled to make you know what. They're not out of masks. They're not out of meds. They're not out of anything, guys. Maybe the people on the streets are out of it for show because they're sacrificing them. They're sacrificial lambs, guys. With that, no. If we did such a thing, we would have did a better job of it. That's where I'm going to leave it.
Today, after President Trump held a press conference on the coronavirus, a reporter asked Trump about questions surrounding the source of the virus.
And they know where it came from. We all know where it came from.
Yep.
Chinese authorities have been pushing companies back to work, and state media are saying things are back to normal. But experts say there might be a bigger crisis ahead. NTD's Juliet Song has the details.
Merchants in several regions in China are taking to the streets asking for their rent to be refunded or reduced.
Or paid in full.
They went back to work under orders from the Chinese authorities, but an expert says the protest is a sign that small businesses in China are struggling to survive. Even though authorities claim the outbreak outside Hubei has been contained, many people still don't dare to go out into the streets. Consumer demands are down and businesses are suffering.
It's very hard for service industries such as restaurants and barbershops to survive in a situation like this. They have no income. At the same time, Chinese authorities require them to continue operation, and they have to shoulder all the costs, including labor and rent.
Small to medium-scale business make up 90% of enterprises in China, yet they don't get much aid from the communist regime. Chin said with the trade war, the burden of cost and the coronavirus outbreak not contained, small businesses in China are facing bigger trouble, which could lead to an economic crisis.
Actually, it's already happening. Next, we'll see many small to medium businesses closing on a large scale. Many people will lose their jobs. It may lead to China slipping into a debt crisis. Enterprises that can't pay the debts they owe to the banks and their clients will.
And I put to you, this is a perfect opportunity for our wonderful CIA to go in there and start manipulating those people to backlash, get their thing going for freedom. And you know, on the freedom thing, I'm for it. And you know what? I guarantee you the CIA is already over there doing those kind of things. That's what they do. But remember what we've heard for 3.5 years? Russia. Well, the U.S. would never do such a thing. Russia. Yeah. Anyway, you wonder why we've been busy for 3.5 years with one BS story after another BS story? It's because I believe China was getting ready for this. If you look at, there's a bunch of school, college professors and others that were making money from China, passing things anyway. And then the thing from Canada that's not mentioned no more. And then again, you notice they're not talking where this thing came from, except for the president. They know where it came from. That's right. They know where it came from. Because we do. And by the way, this is a Fair Use Act. And we know. Because you know why? We're Team 99. Team 99. And you know what? We're going to be fine because we're Team 99. Hey, that was a good one. I hope I don't have too much pizza on my face. If so, you can write to me and say, "You little piggy." With that, there's more to come. This is just a speed little episode.
Trigger a chain reaction.
Chin said once China is in a debt crisis, the chain reaction may impact international markets. Many international companies invested in China's real estate and state-owned enterprises could see no returns.
Aww.
Reporting by Juliet Song, NTD News, New York.
President Trump has formally declared a national emergency in the U.S. The declaration opens access to up to $50 billion to help combat the virus and speed up testing.
Today, I am officially declaring a national emergency.
The United States is now under a national emergency. The rarely used action allows for up to $50 billion in funding set aside by Congress to be provided for disaster relief. Effective immediately, the president urged every state to set up emergency operations centers. He also asked that every hospital in the country activate their emergency preparedness plan. Trump explained that the emergency orders also allow the Secretary of Health and Human Services to waive certain restrictions to give greater flexibility to doctors, hospitals, and healthcare centers.
We'll remove or eliminate every obstacle necessary to deliver our people the care that they need and that they're entitled to. No resource will be spared, nothing whatsoever.
The president also announced a new partnership with the private sector to allow for greater availability and speed of virus testing. Now stores and pharmacies like Walmart, Target, CVS, and Walgreens will provide drive-through services where people can get tested from the comfort of their own.
How could that go wrong, guys? I know some of you skeptical watchers and followers already all over this with giving our DNA, them cataloging it, the thing about a martial law coming into effect. Oh yeah, this is like bad. And I'll share something else with you. When he declared that national emergency, I had this weird little feel, like deja vu thing. Like, yeah, you guys know what I mean. And I guarantee you down the road, when we do this, looking back, if we're lucky enough to be looking back down the road, we're going to watch that moment right there when he declared national emergency and gave $50 billion, where it went after that point. Because you and I, as Team 99, we already know where it's going. We already know where it was. We've been go back and watch my show like 2 months ago, give or take, guys, when the first one says, you know, the outbreak, the virus, the W-19, you know, whatever. And we've been all over it, guys. We've covered everything, every outlook, every way, every possibility that you could think of. So I'm going to jump back into it because I got to go fix a leak, and I'll show it to you guys. It's going to be ugly. Not looking forward to this one. I'd rather be doing this.
Cars. At the same time, Google is developing a website to help people individually determine if a test is needed.
Again, we don't want everybody taking this test. It's totally unnecessary. And this will pass. This will pass through, and we're going to be...
Seeing that, this is another one of his look back screw up moments, guys. I mean, it just is, believe me. And then they keep saying, well, we can't test if you don't have it. Well, how do we test other things if you don't have it? You know, active and full blown is what I'm saying. We do. And I think they can. And I think they know. And I definitely think China's definitely got the vaccinations going and the antiviral and the whole 9 yards. If they recover any quicker than you see any other countries recovering, we know. And it's what we're not seeing in those factories and in those ghost cities that the president has eyes on that we don't. So they know what's going on. Just like they showed that in Iran, that the burials going on in that event or that cemetery that wasn't active a few weeks ago. Now it's got big old trenches and they're burying people and whatever. They're burying people. And it wasn't trenches. I got to get it right, guys. They said tombs or something. But still, same thing. We got eyes on everything, guys. Can't kid me. Or you.
even stronger for it.
President Trump says he expects 500,000 additional tests will be available early next week, and will likely announce testing locations on Sunday night.
Congress has already approved $8.3 billion in funding, but it's still unclear how it will be spent. Nancy Pelosi today announcing a new proposal.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says the Democrat-controlled chamber will pass a coronavirus economic aid package today, but it will still need approval from the Senate and the President. It's unclear if they'll approve. Pelosi calls it the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. Under the proposal, virus testing will be accessible and free for everyone.
The three most important parts of this bill are testing, testing, testing.
Also, if you are affected by the virus, you'll get 2 weeks of paid sick leave. Your company will pay you, and the government will reimburse them for it. President Trump has asked Congress to include an income tax cut. This would leave more money in American workers' pockets and reduce their financial burden. Trump says, if you want to get money into the hands of people quickly and efficiently, let them have the full money that they earned. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell thanked the Trump administration and the House of Representatives for working together. He says the Senate will stay open next week to consider it, canceling its scheduled recess.
Is the China
Okay. I got a bad vibe where this thing's going. Not just the whole thing, but this financially covering people in debt, postponement, etc. I've been talking about. The fat cats ain't going to want to scroll out a penny. The government ain't going to want to scroll out a penny. Giving us 2 weeks from the wonderful Pelosi? What kind of offer is that? And tests? The tests are going to be free anyway. It's already been stated. So what kind of BS is that? I'm telling you, neither one, left or right, is full of baloney right now. Excuse me. Damn pizza. It's just nuts, guys. They need to just postpone all the debts. The banks can eat it. We gave them a bailout. It's time for them to bail us out. And you know what? I'm pushing for that. I'm going to keep pushing for that until my feet are kicking up in the gravestone. And they ain't going to be for a while. So guess what? The Truth Slinger and Team 99 are all over it. Woo! That was like classic, guys. We have to video that and put it in slow motion. Team 99 are all over it. Is that good?
Chinese regime preparing to blackmail the U.S. over pharmaceuticals. The Communist Party is hinting it could withhold face masks and medical supplies from the U.S.
I
as
told
a form
you they
of leverage
threatened
on
us.
other issues. The coronavirus pandemic is highlighting America's deep dependence on China for medical supplies.
President Trump is expected to announce a new executive order to ensure medical supplies and pharmaceuticals are made in America. This in response to coronavirus medical shortages. The U.S. depends on China for medical supplies. Chinese state media, run by the authoritarian regime, hinted at withholding necessary medical supplies from the U.S., likely over recent U.S.
They already gave us that sign, guys. That's what they told us a while back. So this is not new news. This is just more of them sticking it up. And that evil company with the 5G, the 5G thing is way out of control, guys. We're going to cover that. Let's see what they have to say.
actions to restrict market access, the Chinese telecommunications company Huawei. When the virus emerged as an epidemic in China, dependency on overseas production and supply chains posed a threat to U.S. economic stability, but it also threatens national security. A senior advisor at a bioethics research institute said the U.S. is dramatically dependent on China for medical supplies, including prescription drugs. As much as 90% of what goes into them comes from China, and medication is crucial for many people. Shortages of antibiotics, masks, and gowns would also seriously impact hospitals. One senior advisor at the Hastings Center, a bioethics research institute, described dependency on China as a huge risk. This is not only due to the pandemic, but also should the communist regime choose to exert its control over dependent countries, like the U.S. Senator...
Also, India gave us the finger the other day, guys. No antibiotics for us. See, this is what, whether you like Mr. T or not, and he's talking about making things in America, our past presidents, one and all, And the fat cats, the 1% have done nothing but make it so this happened. They are all guilty and should all pay the price and get sued and lose what they have for what we are heading towards, guys. I am not kidding. We are headed for a major catastrophe if we can't produce these things. And I mean, we're going to have to see some miracle retooling. Like I told you, they retool in those factory cities, and they retooled during World War I, World War II. I think it was Ford and other car companies started putting out planes and other stuff. We can do this. This could make America really strong and not dependent on any other countries in the future. If we can make it happen. If our government will take care of the people, then the people will be more willing to sacrifice and go out there and get sick. At some point, the people are going to say, screw it, we're not going out. And they're being told not to go out now anyway. They're thinking that's how they're going to control it. Unless they've got fleets of robots that we don't know about already programmed to take and do everybody's job, which that's another story, guys. Who knows? Who knows?
Marco Rubio said in a statement, the coronavirus outbreak has been a wake-up call that we must combat America's supply chain vulnerabilities and dependence on China in critical sectors of our economy.
Amid the disruption caused by the coronavirus outbreak in China, companies are forced to remodel their supply chain and re-examine their reliance on the world's factory.
The coronavirus outbreak has dealt a shock to businesses around the world as companies scramble to find parts, even sending those parts by plane. They are pushed to move their supply chains and rethink their risk management and dependence on China.
If it doesn't start returning to normality, then yes, it will have an impact. And we are developing some alternative sourcing opportunities where we can. But we don't have multiple sources for a company this size. Our volumes aren't such that you'd have dual sourcing. So we are quite dependent.
On the other hand, some companies have managed to avoid production breakdown, for example, by sourcing materials from regional suppliers. Manufacturer 3M in Minneapolis is one of them. So far, the company has avoided major supply chain disruptions.
That's because 3M was one of the major companies over there in China that were screwing us. And it came back to where China said, we're not going to release your own company's stuff. So 3M went this back way, as many companies can. I'm going to put this over here in the corner. Hopefully this video won't get pulled. Again, if you see my little sign and you want to send a healthcare you sucks or a shirt or a hat, send it someday. But right now, go buy supplies. I don't care. But I think I should probably cover up that little corner. This video might stay alive for a little while. And there's a lot of good stuff in this I think everybody needs to see, guys.
And continues to produce the much needed respirators.
Since we have this regional manufacturing model, many of our items are coming regionally, and we're working with our supply partners very closely to monitor the situation.
As one economic expert told her sister media, the Epoch Times, it's like what the old adage says, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
It's true.
But what we've seen now is companies like Apple and many other companies have put all their eggs in one basket. That basket is China. That we can't gamble everything on concentrating our supply chains in a country with such shaky rule of law and really black box, opaque lack of transparency, in addition to its horrible human rights practices as communist China.
He added, what also makes a company vulnerable to supply disruptions is the just-in-time inventory system, where factories keep a lean inventory to save costs and have all the parts arrive at the plant just in time to be assembled. Ellis hopes this fallout could be a tipping point for some business leadership to rethink their global supply chain.
And I got contact from somebody who works around this situation, the Big Doc situation, who actually has been in contact with several of that kind of situation across the United States. There's a lot of stuff there sitting, guys. And there's a lot of stuff in warehouses too. So they're not letting us know, maybe because they're trying to get ready for what's coming, which is totally not having anything at all. But there's stuff there, unless the fat cats and the 1% are keeping it all for them. I don't know. It'd be like Christmas someday, guys. We might be over there cracking those things open to get what we need to survive. Of course, if you're in the middle of the boonies, you're not. You know what I mean? But just a thought. And with that, I think we're going to close out. We might show some more of this later. I have to go take a look at this leaky roof thing. It's going to be a pain in the butt. Not looking forward to it. And healthcare sucks. And leaky roofs definitely suck. Over and out, my friends. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you're somebody new, subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. Again, the little signs over there. We're not looking for donations, man. If you send a little card saying, healthcare, you suck. Or, you know, you like healthcare or whatever. That's me, healthcare. Or you said, I'm proud to be part of Team 99. Because you're all awesome, man. You're all doing great. I know you're doing what we need to do. And we're going to make this as Team 99. And with that, we're always willing to work with anybody out there to get things accomplished in the future. Because it's going to take more than just one channel or one group to make this happen. You know, some of the other groups are doing their part. Quick shout out to Dutch Sense for the earthquakes, keeping this up. And he's doing the virus. BP Earthwatch, you're awesome, dude. I've been watching you forever. I really miss your Bible study stuff. It was so comforting, so awesome. You were like just great. And you're the one that got me into the armor of God and Jesus. And I appreciate it, brother, BP. I'm Marfugel. Man, that guy's like all over it. We got Discord going over there for that kind of stuff. Go check it out. It's through Marfugel News, Marfugel TV. Go sign up for Discord over there. There's people that will help and care in your own communities. Marf did it on his own. He's awesome. I mean, we did it with help, but his brainchild. So give him credit. And Dex helps out, and his wife and everybody. Shout out, and all the Fugels. Love you all, Fugels. I think I covered Great Dabu. If not, shout out to Great Dabu. He's been all over it for years. What's going on? Snaps. Brother Snaps is back. I seen him the other day. What's up, Snaps? Again, there's so many. There's WV Prepper. I probably screwed that one up. There's so many. Again, I get through a few, and then I'm like, there's so many out there. So if you're out there, give me a shout out. I'll give you one back. Love y'all. Please do take some time to think about, write down things on